I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. But we got to go ahead and cut to the chase because, look, I've never self-identified, unlike y'all three, as being with any party. See, I can go ahead and say it. Democrat are some punk asses. No, I'm going to go ahead and say it. They some punk asses. Well, no, let me unpack it. Let me unpack it.
I don't disagree with you,
They some punk asses. They some punk asses because here's the deal, okay? Here's the reality, all right? Today, they approved another judge over the objections of both U.S. senators in New York. Third time in history it's happened. The other two times, Mitch McConnell did the same thing. Republicans are like, you know what? I know there's a blue slip rule. I know if you're a Democrat and you're Republican, and Scott, you're from the state, and you put a blue slip in, we'll honor that as a rule, and we'll go ahead and not bring the person up. Mitch McConnell's like, the hell with you, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. Okay? In fact, wait a minute, hold on. In fact, Wisconsin, they got a Democrat senator and a Republican senator. The two of them didn't agree. He was like, you know what? Y'all kiss my ass. We're gonna put him up anyway. He didn't care about Rob Johnson. Here's the point I'm making. Republicans are about absolute power. Democrats believe in fairness. Democrats believe in equity. Democrats believe in the right thing to do. Democrats believe in what will they say. Republicans like, I don't give a damn what they're going to say. We're going to do whatever. And then when we do it and get caught out on it, we're going to say whatever. And my point is, at some point, if you're Democrats and you got the House, you've been hearing Maxine Waters say, I got the gavel and I'm going to use it. This is where all this little dance Nadler's doing, no. This is where you got to say, no, we about to go medieval on that ass.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the fact is that you have...
I've never heard it put that way, but I get your point.
But, you know, the fact is that you've got these people like Maxine, like Elijah Cummings. You've got these new people like AOC and Ayanna Pressley. You've got folks who are saying, look, this man has consistently disrespected us, and there we have remedies. And Nancy Pelosi, for all her good points, is as you said, Scott, finger in the wind. The challenge is that we shouldn't be looking at what happens in a 2020 election. We should be looking at what's happening right this
Right. And I'm telling you, Michael, I'm telling you, I need people to understand this. This man is passing tax cuts. He is putting these judges on. You got Franklin Graham out there who don't care about him cheating, who don't care about that. They do not care. He is given the right. Whatever they want, they are going to excuse everything, and they are going to vote for him. Because you know what? This was the argument is going to be. It was the same argument it was in 2016. Yeah, we know he's a piece of crap. Yeah, we know he's a womanizer. Yeah, we know he disrespects women. They are. But if Hillary president, oh, well, she gonna pass. I don't care who the Democrat is. It can be Biden, Harris, Warren, Buttigieg. It can be O'Rourke, Castro. It can be Klobuchar. It can be Gabbard. It can be the other 29 people who are running. It can be any of them. Republicans are going to say, hey, Donald Trump, we can't stand, is better than any Democrat we kind of like.
Because of predatory capitalism. Because of predatory capitalism.
Well,
because
not just that, but also race.
Predatory capitalism. We're not socialists.
They are socialists.
It's an attempt to extract that last dollar from a working person. The fact that these regulations, Scott, I know that you are a petty capitalist. I realize that, and that's a good thing.
Hold up. No. Let me say this here. I'm going to quote John Hope Franklin. Damn it, you got to be a capitalist to be a damn good socialist. Okay? Guess what? You got, hold up. If you want to give some money away, hell, you got to make some damn money to give it away. But go ahead.
But okay, so Scott was
I'm just saying.
So Scott's going to give you a bunch of money when the show is over with. But no, here's the point, though. These people are looking at their bottom line. It has nothing to do with principle. It has nothing to do with democracy. It has to do with the extraction of surplus value from poor people. And when you look at the minimum wage bill.
That's all they care about.
The minimum wage bill is going to pass Congress. It's not going to go through the Senate. But they're not going to stop on that. They should put it out there. There's other legislation that they need to put out there. So, quite frankly, if you're going to put all that legislation out there, know what kind of Senate you face. Why not do impeachment?
Roland, here's the real point that we have not talked about and how we got here politically with the Democrats and the Republicans. What happened to the Republican Party?
We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that.
The Republicans.
We ain't got no. I think that is the stupidest conversation we always have. We keep saying it is stupid. You know why it's stupid? Because it is a philosophical, what happened to him?
What happened to him?
Easy, the same damn thing. First of all, Jack Kemp had no place. Jack Kemp was a member of Congress. He was in the House and became Secretary of HUD. He ran and got his ass whooped. Okay? They didn't care about Jack Kemp.
So
they didn't care.
Republican statesmen in the country right now in the House or Senate.
No,
that's our problem. That's one of our problems.
They ain't our problem. That's their problem. No, I keep telling you, they care, Michael. They care about power. And how they have defined power is this way.
They don't care about the country?
They have defined. No,
you can't rely on them to care about
this is what they said, Mike. I'm talking to Michael. Michael, this is what they've said. This is what they've said. They said point blank, overturn Roe v. Wade. They've said overturn same-sex marriage. They've said stop undocumented workers from coming to this country. They've said, get rid of affirmative action. They've said, the hell with unions. They've said, park that money overseas and then bring it back, let them bring it in for free. What they've said is massive tax cuts trickle down. Even though right now, okay, dairy farmers in Wisconsin shutting down up more than 50%. Farmers in Iowa getting screwed. In fact, a group of scientists in the U.S. Department of Agriculture have quit because the Trump administration has blocked them out because they dared to release a report that showed that his tax cuts have had a negative impact on farmers. And so they basically blocked them out and they quit. What the Republican Party is all about, they've been lying to these broke white folks all these years. And also why we here, watch the Post had a story today about should Democrats compete for rural voters. The whole story is about Iowa. Damn it, put white in there, because you ain't talking about black people. Iowa's 90% white. You ain't talking about none of us or Latinos. The reality is this here, okay? The Republican Party don't give a damn about none of those people. And at some point, those dumb folks gonna wake up and realize we keep getting screwed by the same people.
At what point, Roland? At what point? Is it 2020? Is it gonna be 20?
No. Hopefully they wake up. But the deal is, you can't waste your time hoping they wake up. What you gotta do is you gotta turn out more of your people to beat them.
I have, and you know, Tom Perez is a good friend of ours, and I know we all know him and like him, but I got to go back to 1988 when my father was chairman, and he watched how Lee Atwater and Roger Ailes ran the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. He said, we're not going to bring a knife to a gunfight this time. We're going to bring a gun to a gunfight. And that's what they did.
I'm gonna bring a bazooka.
And he said, "Look," and that's where Chairman Perez's challenge is going to be. Yes, I get, and that's what you were talking about, Roland, the fairness thing, and that's what we're about, fairness. Sooner or later, he's going to have to stop this primary process. Of course, not anytime soon. We have primaries to run, some caucuses. But what my father did is let people step up, and then he said, "You know what? Bill Clinton's the guy. Everybody else, I'm turning the faucet off. Mm-hmm. So you can either get out and be part of the team, or you're just going to get trampled." And people made some tough, and that was back in Gephardt days and Rockefeller. These were some strong people.
Right.
And you have to sometimes make a tough decision what's best for the party and best for the country. And that's what hopefully
So hold on. Wait. So wait. I'm going to end this segment on this. And so when we did the Erica Alexander,
we got more to say.
Get over it. When we had the Erica Alexander interview, I want y'all to listen. I want y'all to listen to the last line of what Erica Alexander had to say. And to me, that's what Democrats should be, their state of mind today. So this was the promo that we ran promoting our interview with Erica Alexander. Here we go to my iPad.
Are they going to run it for you? In order to get anything done in this world, we have to work with the system that's there. And you have to have the courage of your convictions. You may despise me, you may not understand my choice, but at least you can respect that I stood in it. If you're outside the mainstream, no one can push you aside any further. Life makes you jaded, and it hurts you, and it's painful. And we've had a lot of pain in this country. Trump can show up and say anything, and they can just go, oh, yeah.
The African-American community was great to us. They didn't vote.
You know, he just called you stupid. Did you hear that? But he's for us. Really? And they were just regurgitating the things that they had heard on a radio or in the barbershop or something somebody had told them. They hadn't thought about it. Democracy is in danger because people don't know how to think. I'm done with trying to convince people to try to vote for their, for their life. You have to run for your life. I'm going to go try to get people who are open to it and lead them. I'm done with hope. Fuck hope, fight. That's good.
Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that last line? That should be on a T-shirt. Fuck hope, fight. That's what she said.
I didn't understand.
No, okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold up, sorry. Let me walk you through those three words again. Erica Alexander said, fuck hope, fight.
I got it. I didn't hear her say that. It was muffled.
So y'all can, well, it wasn't muffled. You heard me say it. So all y'all, look, I know all these black folks. I know all these black folks. You damn right. I know all these black folks.
Cursing works.
I know all these black folks still in love with Obama, and they want Obama to come back. Let me go and help y'all. He ain't coming back, okay? He ain't running again, all right? And guess what? Where we were in 2008 is not where we are in 2019. And so you can talk about the love army and love them and hold them and caress them. I'm telling you right now, Republicans ain't trying to love us. They ain't trying to caress us. It's about power. And you better understand what Michael said. When you come into a gunfight, I advise you to bring a gun. And in my case, bring a bazooka.
Or like an automatic.
I'm blowing out a bazooka. I'm blowing the whole side of the whole side away, not just that one person. Because I'm telling y'all, mark my words. If y'all think I'm crazy, write it down. Today is May 8th, 6:59 p.m. The Republican Party, they will do everything to win next year. Period. Unfiltered, be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. I'm inviting you to come out swinging and join me for a day of golf at the University for Parents Golf Tournament on Saturday, June 22nd in Southwest Atlanta's Wolf Creek Golf Course. It's a golf tournament with a purpose, a fundraiser for the University for Parents, a program designed to empower parent learners through education, inspiration, and support. Now, when you empower the parents, you empower the children too. The location of the tournament is 3000 Union Road, and the shotgun start time is 9 a.m. To register, please go to www.u4parents.org, U4parents.org. For more information, be sure to call 770-316-3487. I hope to see you there. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Folks, last night in Dallas, WFAA TV Channel 8 obtained a video, which they actually showed last night, of cell phone footage of the arrest of Sandra Bland in Prairie View, Texas in 2015. Yeah, it's 2019. This video was obtained through their rigorous work 4 years. Now, authorities have been sitting on this video for 4 years. It is a video that Bland shot herself of her arrest by a Texas Department of Public Safety trooper. Up until this point, all we have had was the dash cam video of this trooper showing his interaction with Sandra Bland. This video takes us inside of the car to hear as crystal clear her engagement with this state trooper. Watch this.
Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket for your failure?
Get out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You just opened my car door. You just opened my car door. So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you gonna stun me?
I will light you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
Really, for a failure to signal. You doing all of this for a failure to signal.
Get over there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do it.
Go ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the phone.
On my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone. I have a right to record. This is my property. This is my property. Sir?
Put your phone down right now.
Now, you're hearing him say, put your phone down. Now, remember, when this actually took place, what really happened there was she was coming out of the Prairie View A&M University parking lot, and literally this Department of Public Safety trooper was engaged. He had previously was engaged with someone else. Turns his car around and follows Sandra Bland the entire time, waiting for her to do something. She fails to put on a signal, but in fact, she actually was getting over because he was behind her. She thought she was getting out of his way. Now, all of a sudden, we see this video. Why is it taking 4 years? Joining us right now is Cannon Lambert, who is the attorney for the Bland family. Cannon, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Cannon, can you hear me?
I can hear you vaguely. Yeah, it's a little distant, but I can hear you.
Okay, I'm having difficulty hearing you clearly. So let's see, Cannon, are you there?
I am here. I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I got you. All right, so prior to WFAA airing this video, were you or the family even aware that this video existed?
We didn't know about this video. We never saw this video until we were shown by that reporter. And I guess if you think about it from the standpoint of the importance of this video, it kind of puts things into perspective, right? From the civil perspective, it really doesn't have much import. The maximum that I could recover from the Department of DPS was $100,000. The Texas Tort Claim Act capped us at $100,000, and we got that $100,000 from them. The real import of this video, though, is that if the special prosecutors had this video and then chose not to use it, chose not to pursue the perjury charge, and chose not to actually prosecute to the fullest extent possible, there's where the dilemma comes in. There's where the trouble comes in. They told this family they were going to pursue the perjury charge and that they would prosecute that and get a resolution. They told this family they would not cut a deal. And after they told them that, they cut a deal.
Well, and first of all, when you see this video, I mean, you hear Sandra Bland sitting here saying, you want to arrest me for failure to turn on a traffic signal. You see this police officer. You see this state trooper with the attitude, engage. We know how he was trying to push her buttons, telling her to put the cigarette out. For prosecutors not to even seek an indictment against this guy, that to me is beyond shameful.
Well, you've got your finger directly on the pulse. I mean, the reality of it is that the video that was recently revealed, what it shows is that Encenia had absolutely no basis to suggest that he was in fear of his safety. And that was the thing that he was suggesting all along, that he was in fear for his safety. That's why he arrested her. That's why he pulled her out of the car and the like. This video shows that's not true. And when the special prosecutors, as I understand it, had that video and had the opportunity to present that video to the grand jury and could have prosecuted him but chose not to, I mean, you can understand why the family has consternation about that.
You know, this is one of the things that, again, when we see these videos, but here's the problem. This is 4 years later. We just discovered, we just were made aware of video a decade after the murder of Oscar Grant. Then we can go other cases, how police and prosecutors hold on to this stuff for years, hoping the public forgets about it. That, to me, is shameful. It's shameful that WFAA had to spend all this time just to get the video. How is it that we didn't know about this 4 years ago?
Well, you remember at the front end of this case, and I know you remember it because you covered it quite a bit, which is one of the reasons why when the case got settled, you were the first person that we came to announce that. But the reality of it is that when we were trying to get the police report, that was being withheld from us. In fact, you had lawyers for DPS saying that they didn't believe that we should even get the police report. So there's always a struggle that families have in terms of accessing information so that they can understand what transpires where their loved ones are hurt. And so you would hope that that would be a more transparent process. It just isn't. That being said, in a situation like this, when you're talking about a grand jury and you're talking about special prosecutors being appointed, their job is to try and come to a conclusion as to whether or not charges should be brought, and if they are brought, prosecuted to the fullest extent. And when they don't do that, I think it belies the public trust.
Well, it is certainly, again, ridiculous that we're seeing this now 4 years later. But it goes to show you again the lengths that prosecutors will go to protect police officers, in this case state troopers, and how it is difficult for citizens, especially black folks, to get fair treatment by law enforcement in this country.
I mean, we have a long way to go in this country. I don't think that means we give up, we throw in the towel. We have to continue to strive, and we have to continue to hold people accountable. And I think when I look at the family, that's the thing that they do best. They are absolutely dedicated to trying to hold folks accountable and try and use this as a vehicle for change. And to that extent, I celebrate them.
All right, Kenan Lambert, attorney for the Sandra Bland family. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Roland. Thanks a lot.
All right, folks, let's go to our panel here. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for the Environmental Justice and with the Environmental Protection Agency. Kelly Bethea, communication strategist, as well as Dr. Nyambi Carter, Howard University Department of Political Science. Dr. Carter, I want to go to you again. We see these things over and over and over again, where here we are as residents, as citizens. People are constantly told, believe the police, trust the police, yet to sit on this video for 4 years, the Oscar Grant video, we now know that one of the cops who was involved in his murder called him the N-word, and the language that was used as well. That's a decade after the fact. That, to me, is willingly covering up the evidence so the public isn't aware of the misdeeds of these cops.
Well, absolutely, Roland, and I think what it highlights more often than not is the aggressive treatment that a lot of black citizens and others get at the hands of the police. Police should be trained to de-escalate situations, but as we saw with Sandra Bland, that police officer escalated that situation for something that should have been a ticket or a fine to something where she was jailed and subsequently died in police custody. That should never have happened, not if we have a professionally well-trained police force. Now, that's the lie we've been told, but I think as evidence has shown us over and over and over again, we cannot count on police officers to treat the citizens of this country with respect and to de-escalate situations and not move to violence. It's like the only thing that they've been taught is force and having people bow to their will. And the only way to make them comply is to use violence. And when that doesn't work, we get really poor outcomes, particularly for communities of color. And I think that we haven't seen the fact that we haven't seen this video for 4 years shows the ways in which we can't trust the legal process to be full and impartial. And in fact, we have to be hyper vigilant, and we require not just the families and the legal communities that represent them, but also the journalists in this case and others to really push for opening and a full accounting of all evidence in this matter, because I have no doubt that we would have never seen this video if it were not for the journalistic community pushing forward.
Mustafa, again, we know now, in the case of Oscar Grant, the police officer instigated the shooting, lied about what took place, but we only know this because this report was released 10 years later.
This is about power. It's about some in law enforcement feeling that they have the ability to sort of frame the narrative. They have the ability to push people to the limit. Sometimes they don't even have to push people to the limit. And then, unfortunately, far too many folks are actually losing their lives because of this power dynamic that's going on. But it's also an interesting situation where if you or I hold back evidence, then we will find ourselves probably on the other side of the legal system, but we're allowing law enforcement officers and the associations that surround them to protect them, to hide the facts, and to sort of change the dynamics of the cases so that they are, in many instances, getting off. Where if people saw the reality when it was still raw and when it was still fresh, that the juries would probably, or even the district attorneys, would go in a different direction. We have to change that dynamic. We have to hold people accountable, and there is a price to pay when law enforcement is not doing their job properly.
Kelly, first of all, in the case of Oscar Grant, the only reason we even know about this particular report, this internal affairs investigation that was conducted by an outside law firm, is because of a new law in California dealing with police transparency. What we now know is that the officer, Anthony Perrone, struck Oscar Grant. He also used profanity and the N-word during the incident, lied to investigators, saying that that Oscar Grant hit his partner and kicked him in the groin, but the video evidence completely disputes that. But we're learning this 10 years later.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. And the same thing happened with the Sandra Bland situation, in that the evidence now shows that whatever the statement that the police officer said is completely contradictory to what the video footage shows. But going to the Roots original article regarding the discovery that was produced, they said that 820 gigabytes of data was compiled and that they gave it to the opposing party, Sandra Bland's legal team. And it just feels like there's been only that they were looking for a needle in a stack of needles, as opposed to just giving this information forthright at worst, if it was actually in that 820 gigabytes worth of data. On the other hand, this is just blatantly obstruction. And the question that I would have for the legal team for Sandra Bland is there a statute of limitations on perjury or obstruction? Can we, what are the next steps further to make sure that some semblance of justice is served here?
Well, but here's the problem. The problem is Sandra Bland's family attorneys can't bring that forth. Who has to do it? The district attorney.
Right.
In this case, and you have, of course, you get a special prosecutor involved in this, and that's the problem that you have here. And so the problem that we consistently see is that we're having to go to district attorneys to prosecute perjury. But they're the same very people who failed to indict the officer in the first place. And that's sort of one of the issues that we have. And so we'll certainly keep the focus on these cases and continue to push for more police transparency and law enforcement transparency in many of these cases. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. I gotta play this video, y'all. So, we saw this video. First of all, I ain't realized somebody black lived in Montana.
That's one. That's one.
There's a sister named Angela Whitehead. These cops from the Billings, Montana Police Department walked into her apartment without asking Angela's permission. They didn't knock on the door. Woo! Check out Angela.
You can't. You cannot come in my home. I did not give him permission.
You did not. He was.
Thank you. Talking about it's an altercation.
There was no altercation.
I don't give a damn what you heard. I don't give a damn what you heard. You understand what I'm saying? No, because this is my home and this is my property, and I'm telling you to leave my home. That's what I'm telling you. This is my house. I pay these people. You crazy? Out your head coming up in my house? You must be crazy coming up in here. Talking about you heard something. You heard me talking. I talk loud and I'm aggressive. And guess what? You did not knock on my door. There's no weapons here. There's nothing going on here. And you are violating my rights, sweetheart. Right. Now, tell me that I'm fucking wrong. You can't, because I'm not wrong. You do not come in my home without my permission. Period.
When I get called,
I don't care what you got.
Hey, I don't care.
I don't care what you got. Because guess what? If I had just came in the house and smoking a cigarette, this door would have been closed and your ass would have had to knock. You do not fucking come in my house without my permission. With your white ass, and I'm black, and I'm scared of you. So guess I don't care. Right. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
That's why you're screaming.
I'm screaming because
so
I'm screaming because you're in my space. This is my home. This is where my kids live. How I know you wasn't coming up here with a fucking gun? Black people killer? How do I know that? I don't. So guess what? I'm aggressive. I'm being hostile, like you guys call us, because you done came up in my home. Stop playing. You got the wrong black girl on the right day, baby. What do you want? What do you want? Goodbye. I know my rights. They cannot walk in my home. Because if this door was closed, they would have had to knock. Don't ever do that again. Thank you.
They left out the motherfucking part.
Oh, man. Okay, y'all edited the good part out. All right, let me go ahead and do it, okay? So it's a brother who's off. Oh, I can't believe y'all edited the good part. Oh, man. It's a brother who's off screen. He's trying to be reasonable. Sir, she's like, shut up. It's my house. Go back to the cop. She jumped in the cop's ass. Brother start talking. Kevin, shut up. Y'all left the good stuff out. It was a brother was trying to calm her. She was like, shut up.
That's why I run this house.
No, she said, I run this house.
I pay the bill.
And then dog, she said it.
Did she really?
Bruh.
She said, I pay the bill.
She's like, Kevin, shut the hell up.
Yeah, she did. That's my cousin. I'm claiming her. She a member of my family.
Oh, but she was. You heard a noise.
Oh God.
And you gonna walk into the apartment?
Not knock.
Not knock.
Just walk in. Two policemen. Hey now.
We know who need to run for Congress from Montana.
Right? And that'd be her campaign video.
But they stood in the video and they didn't say anything.
And then they left. And then they left.
And at the end, you didn't hear the other part at the end where the cop said, well, ma'am, you really should take his advice. Listen to him. She's like, hell no. Out. But I'm with her.
We need to replicate that.
But she was right, actually. That's why they just stood there, because they were trying to figure out a way to gracefully to de-escalate and just walk out. Eventually, they just backed out. I've never seen anything like that.
They had no business there in the first place. You just don't walk up in somebody's house.
Because you heard something. She said, I got kids. And you heard me talking loud. And I'm aggressive.
I love her. I want to clone her. I want to replicate her.
I'm telling y'all.
That's my spirit animal.
Well, did you tweet that out, that video out?
Oh, hell yes, I tweeted the video out. That's why I saw it.
I need to retweet that.
Dog, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And what I love about it when she was like, shut up.
Yeah.
She told her brother and he was trying to like, Mr. Officer, everything, it's, officer.
Yeah, he was playing Mr. Bojangles, and she wasn't having it.
Nope, she wasn't having it.
She said, I'm in my house, I'm scared. I got kids, you got a gun. I'm black, you white.
No, and you know what? And the reason I wanted that on because I'm serious. Black people have gotten fed up. And here's the other piece, and we talk about these shootings and stuff. Black folks are tired in this damn country of having to be on our P's and Q's, change our tone, and wear a damn suit when we drive in, okay? Because we have to sit here and deal with some bullshit, okay, from folks every single day. And I'm sorry, I'm calling like it is. We're tired of it. We're tired of having to change everything about us to accommodate folks who are largely white who can't deal with the reality, okay? There's a video of a white woman. Cops pull her son over. White woman comes to the scene, cusses the cops out. I'm talking about up and down. This is the cop the whole time. Ma'am, I understand. Ma'am, you can't show me a black mama who would come to the scene. The cops would say, you interfering with law enforcement.
She might have been shot.
I'm just saying that, so Angela had enough. Angela probably saw the Sandra Bland video, and she probably saw everything else, and then she also knew, you're in my house. You crossed that threshold, no warrant, no knock. And that's why they had to back out. because they couldn't do resisting arrest. They couldn't say disorderly conduct because she was actually in her house.
She said the door is only open because I was out there smoking my cigarette. Otherwise, the door would have been closed.
And you would have had to knock.
And you would have had to knock.
You would have had to knock.
All I'm saying is,
they were some big cops too, man. They were like 6'2", 6'3".
And they had missed the meal. You know?
Oh, hold on, wait, hold on. I think I found it. I think I found it. Go to my iPad.
What I'm saying, I don't give a fuck about what you talk about. Shut the fuck up now. You shut up. I don't care what he's talking about. This is my house. I pay these bills. You crazy?
Yeah,
I told you
one more time. I told y'all they cut the good stuff out. I told y'all. Kevin was talking. Hey, shut. My advice to Kevin. Zip it. Just, she aggressive. Zip it.
You know?
Jackie Clark.
Jackie
Clark, your job is to get Angela on the show tomorrow. She was on Joe Madison's show this morning. Your job is to get her on the show tomorrow. We got to give Angela an Image Award.
Oh, yeah.
We got to give Angela an Image Award. All right, y'all, we got to go. I knew y'all would go. Normally, we play some crazy-ass white person who lost their mind. But Angela right there. Angela,
those are crazy-ass white people.
Angela got to get an invite to the Image Awards next year or something.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Take her to the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yes.
Damn, that'll be good. All right, y'all. If you want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show out here, please go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. We'd love for you your support. Again, whether you want to pay via Cash App, PayPal, Square, you name it, please support us because, again, this is what we do. We have a great show for you tomorrow, and trust me, that black woman's going to be on this show. It might be tomorrow, it might be on Friday, it might be on Monday, but we're going to have her on the show because sister was giving them the business.
Yes, she was.
The true sister.
She was the truth. Angela Whitehead, power to the people. Power! Roland Martin Unfiltered. Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. The Boston Red Sox, they won the World Series last year. And like winners, they have been invited to the White House to meet with President Donald Trump. But their manager, Alex Cora, he says he's not going to attend. In fact, a number of black and Latino ball players have made it clear that they are not going to be attending as well. Yet, who will be attending? White ball players of the Boston Red Sox. In fact, that was a tweet that was sent out that was interesting where this reporter tweeted that what he said was, looks like the White Sox are the only people who are going. And David Price, African-American, was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He retweeted that, and he said that he felt that more than 38,000 people should have given a chance to see that tweet. He then backtracked by saying what he felt it was insensitive. But I don't think David Price was believing it was insensitive. I think David Price was on point there. I want to go to my panel right now, and I want to start with you, Mustafa. Here's what's interesting. Again, and we've seen this in the NFL as well, where black ball players out there speaking to issues, and all of a sudden you're like, where are the white ball players? And then, of course, you had Chris Long and a few other players who actually spoke up, and you see this racial divide. In fact, Jamel Hill has a piece in The Atlantic talking about that, where she says it's wrong to keep asking the black and Latino ball players, are they going to visit the White House? She says What they should be doing is going to the white ball players and saying, why aren't y'all standing with your black and Latino ball players? Mustafa, your thoughts?
I agree with her 100%. It's time for white brothers and sisters to stand in solidarity with others, you know, who are pushing back against these injustices that they see. And, you know, it's an interesting dynamic. You know, sometimes when I'm out across the country speaking and stuff, and people will ask me about racism, how do we stop racism? And I'm very honest with them. I say that white brothers and sisters are the ones who can help to stop racism because that's where the root of it comes from. So if you are not willing to invest, if you're not willing to stand up and say that these injustices are happening and that I do not support them, then you know, you're kind of connected to it if you're not willing to, you know, stand up and push back against these types of things. So I agree with our sister 100%. And it's actually time. You know, you can't have brothers like LeBron being out there by themselves, or Seth Curry, or a number of the others who are out there. It's time for folks to actually, let's take account of people who actually want to make a change against racism.
Dr. Carter, a month ago, Kyle Korver, of course, white guard in the NBA, published this essay in the Players Tribune, which was called "Privileged." And this is what he wrote. He said, "When the police break your teammate's leg, you'd think it would wake you up a little. When they arrest him on a New York street, throw him in jail for the night, and leave him with a season-ending injury, you would think it would sink in. You would think you would know there was more to the story. You'd think, but nope." He writes, "I still remember my reaction when I first heard what happened to Thabo. It was 2015, late in the season. Thabo and I were teammates on the Atlanta Hawks, and we'd flown into New York late after a game in Atlanta. When I woke up the next morning, our team group text was going nuts. Details were still hazy, but guys were saying Thabo hurt his leg. During an arrest? Wait, he spent the night in jail? Everyone was pretty upset and confused. Well, almost everyone. My response was different. I'm embarrassed to admit it." And this got lots of attention. Of course, conservatives, white conservatives, were really criticizing Kyle Korver. But Dr. Carter, what he lays out is a perfect example. Here he is with a black teammate who had his leg was broken by NYPD. He was not in the wrong. And this white ball player pretty much ain't my problem. That speaks to the same thing with these white ball players who are very easy. Oh, no, you know, we're going to go to the White House with Trump. Not speaking out against the bigotry of Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, I think this is just a microcosm of the larger world we live in, where you see people of color, black folks, Latino folks, Native Americans on the front lines of all kinds of social justice movements, and then having to kind of pull white folks along if they're willing to be led that way. And I think, you know, this is one of those moments, as Mustafa rightly pointed out, where you have to kind of let white people do this work in their own communities and speak back to these team owners. Where was the concern for Thabo? I mean, his career could have been over. I mean, when you make your money with your body, that could be devastating. And it was, certainly. But I think, you know, more than that, I think this speaks to the larger societal issues that we have, where whites see their cause as very separate from the cause of black people and the cause of others. And it's not to say all white people at all times. At the same time, black people and Latino folks and others can't be the only ones with skin in the game. We can't be the only ones losing things, putting endorsements on the line, or just putting our real freedoms on the line. As you rightly point out, I mean, people are going out here protesting and being arrested and having their lives upended, trying to do the right thing and trying to seek justice for the most of us, right? And so it's sort of one of these things where, you know, you want to say to others like Kyle Korver, you know, getting the benefits with none of the burdens isn't the way to build a team. And if we really mean that we are a team and that we're, you know, all for one and one for all, it can't just be on the court. It also has to be off the court, because ultimately what hurts my teammate, what hurts my fellow citizen, also hurts me. And I don't think that ethos has sort of seeped out in the larger society. And so we shouldn't expect to see it in the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, or any other place where these kind of injustices are replicated, because they're institutional and they're endemic to the country that we live in. And if it's looked like racism is only a black problem, then of course nobody else feels like they need to do any work.
Kelly, one of the things that when we think about the history of this country, you go back to the 60s, there's a black freedom movement when you had white students who went down south and you often had black activists who took offense by saying, look, if anything happens to any one of these white kids, the FBI is going to swoop down here in a heartbeat, and they don't give a damn about any of us. When we also think about what happens today, I mean, I've heard numerous African Americans actually say this, and that is, when something happens to somebody white, now all of a sudden we can now get some attention to a cause. And I think I think back to also Malcolm X. He wrote in his autobiography of Malcolm X where he talked about a white student, I believe, at Harvard or one of the Ivy League schools, came up to him and asked him, how could I help you with your cause? And Malcolm X said nothing and walked away. Later, he wrote that he said he wishes he had told her, look, I don't need you helping black folks. I need you going back to your white enclaves and dealing with them when it comes to race. That's the same thing, I think, with these ball players. And we now know that even when it came to Colin Kaepernick, Baltimore Ravens talked about it. You had many of these white conservative ball players who were pissed off, and they did exactly what Kyle Korver did. Kyle Korver writes that his first thought was, quote, what was Thabo doing out at a club on a back-to-back? Not how was he doing, not what happened during the arrest, why was he out? The white ball players did the same thing. Why can't you guys just comply? That's how white folks think when things happen to black people. Not what if they do wrong. Essentially, hey, black person, what the hell were you doing? Kelly.
I think that it's a situation where, especially now, racism has never been our burden, but it has been burdensome to us. And now we are in a dynamic where we can actually say, hey, this is not our burden to bear. This is your responsibility to fix, or rather, at least share the responsibility in fixing it at this point, especially in sports world, because you have so many ethnicities, so many races actually working together for the sake of the team. But when it comes to things outside of the team, that's when everybody's isolated. That's when everybody is their own person. Everybody's an individual. You need to take that teamwork outside of the sport itself and actually get something done beneficial to the whole. But in this case, people of color, black people, because it's burdensome to us, but again, it's not our burden to actually fix.
Roland Martin Unfiltered, be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Yeah, Khalil, go ahead.
I remember, and I don't mean to be controversial in case that's the result, but I remember the audio in the video of Sandra Bland being quite similar to her.
Yep.
To that cop. Not taking no stuff, castrating him verbally in terms of talking about this is how you become a man and stuff like that. And I remember black men being ambiguous around because of their own reactions to her from personal experience, being apprehensive to be supportive of her. I don't know if you saw any of that. And I just becomes in mind is the necessity for us to have a conversation as black people to understand each other and to contextualize each other's rage, which is often misdirected. Because it was misdirected rage and unresolved perspectives of black women's justifiable rage that had some brothers in quandary about whether I should support Sandra or not, who was murdered. You understand what I'm saying? And I imagine, I haven't read any of the mail in response to, or the Twitter in response to her yet, but I bet there's some brothers going, I don't know if I want to support her because she just castrated Kevin in front of the whole world.
No. I mean, first of all, again, this is why
I'm not saying that's my perspective.
No,
I got it. Go ahead.
This is why people have to support Roland Martin Unfiltered. In addition to the fact that that's probably a commercial loop now. She is completely unfiltered. But this is the only place you're going to hear this nuanced conversation. Now, did you hear what Kevin said? He said, I have to protect my wife. See, when the thing went down, it was boom. First of all, you got networks going on. She's got her hair fixed. Her hairdresser's on the one on the phone. The police coming up. But the man got caught completely off guard. You also heard her say, if it had been in the car, we could have handled it differently. And what you said,
she said, I would have handled it differently.
Listen, this is the important context. And I'm sure we've all been in this situation where we've been driving, or you see law enforcement or whatever, and black men always know where the police are. It could be 3 blocks back. I know this cat is on the left, right? And then in a car with a woman, I can't count the number of times this happened. And I said, I go to police. She'll look, don't look. Wow, because if this thing starts, I've got to finish it. When you heard Kevin say, I've got to protect my wife, that's not fear. What that is, if these white boys come in here, now I got to die. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is this is so complex.
And again, depending upon the scenario, because I think back to 80. So this is 87, 1987. My brother's a freshman at Texas A&M University, and he was in the gospel choir there, and they had come from a concert in Beaumont, and they were coming through Houston. They stopped by our house. So it was probably 4 or 6 cars. Okay, so they were parked on both sides of the street in front of our house. And so a police officer is coming down the street, jumps on his speaker, how they need to clear the street. Cars parked on both sides, and the car could have got through. And his whole deal was, for emergency vehicle to be able to come through. My dad had been drinking. I think we had something in our house, whatever. My dad was pissed. So, now mind you, my parents were co-founders of the Clinton Park Civic Club. So, we had relationships with the commander of the police who's over our neighborhood. My dad calls the station. And he says, I want to know who is the cop on patrol in our neighborhood right now. When they call, ask for the commander. Put him through. My dad explained what happened. My dad said, I want the cop to come back to my house so I can have a conversation with him. Come on. Now, my mama freaking out. Reginald, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, damn that. He said, but I'm not going to have black college students,
my goodness,
going to college, coming from a gospel concert, and this cop wants to come in front of my house and make them move their cars. Yes. Commander said he's on the way. The commander did not mess with my parents because they were over the Civic Club.
Shout out Reginald Martin.
The cop comes to the house, young white boy. So cop steps into the house, and he all nervous and hand on the gun. My dad said, why is your hand on your gun? I'm the one who called your boss. You can relax. Now, my dad's sitting here so he was drinking. That does sobered real. He went straight from had a good time to I'm about to get somebody's ass.
And all y'all there watching.
And I'm sitting there like,
brother.
Now, and again, I need black folks to understand what it means when you a black son watching a black father
Come on, Roland.
do this.
Come on, brother.
So I'm standing there, and I'm like, what the hell? This Negro is crazy. I believe this Negro alone. And so he starts breaking down the cop. He said, now, you didn't have to sit here and come through here and jump on your speaker. He said, we're not going to be here long. Well, sir, we need to be able to, for if something happened in the ambulance. He said, no. He said, no, you were flexing your power. He sit there and school this young white cop. And the young white cop, I'm sure he was like, who the hell is this black man that I got called to come back to his house?
Who do you think he is, a citizen?
But the thing that was interesting was, again, the fear of my mama.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the fearlessness of my daddy and my mama thinking, same way as Kevin,
right?
I don't want nothing to happen, nothing to escalate.
Come on.
And daddy was like, damn that.
Damn that.
This is about respect.
That's right.
Right here. And I'm going to teach this young cop, he's going to respect some black folks.
That's right. That's right.
And that's really what, so that whole exchange right there.
Felt that.
That's exactly what that was. Kevin, like, the hell, the cops in my house. I got to protect my wife. She going off. I'm trying to calm the situation down because I don't want one of these white cops to go off and strike her, throw up against the wall or whatever. Because to your point,
yes, sir.
Now I got to elevate.
Now I got to, yeah, that's right. That was very powerful.
Yeah, and it's a layered discussion for sure. I'm probably more on the Kevin side because if a cop came into my home, I'm pretty sure that I would try to do everything to de-escalate it. Again, fortunately, Angela and that family made it out alive. Fortunately, it was videotaped. But there are many instances where that does not happen. And again, I want to go back to, I hope that even though we have a right to express ourselves and, we're living in this country and we should have every right that everyone else has, the reality is different. And so I just hope that this does not spur people to react now, fortunately, that was in Montana. What happens in Montana may be different than what happens in Florida.
Yeah, but see,
okay,
all right, hold up, Malik. But this is where there comes a time and a point when you are black and you are tired of accommodating whiteness.
Power.
No, whiteness. Okay. Well. I'm about to expand this thing, okay? Because I'm about to expand this thing beyond cops. It reaches a point when you are black and you're tired of take the bass out your voice.
That's right.
You're tired of not being able to show actual anger in the workplace because it's a white woman.
Come on.
And, you can't cuss a white woman out.
Come on, bro.
You're tired of, I got to wear a suit. The story that I read, brothers who wear suits in New York and they carry the Wall Street Journal around. So if somebody white sees them with the Wall Street Journal, then they go, oh, he's one of them or one of us. He's not a threat.
That's right.
There comes a time and a point where you are black. You are tired of accommodating whiteness.
That's right.
Where you're tired of making them feel good. And you're tired of having to pull yourself back and change your hair and change your dress and change your tone when, if you were white, Angela's reaction actually is natural.
And I would go so far even to include today, man. There comes a time when you're a Latino, you're a Puerto Rican, and you're not going to the White House to shake this racist hand who's saying your people didn't die. And you black, which means you're Afro-Anglo, you associate with them. There comes a time when I'm just not going to go there. Because you know that if you go past that tripwire, brother, all bets are off. There are 800,000 people or so in Montana. Only a couple of thousand of them are people of African descent. And so, but there comes a time when you have to say, that's it. You sound like Martin Luther King, man. Remember that speech Dr. King said, when there comes a time.
Right. Like for instance, because I'm going to bring this in, because you mentioned the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Here we go to my iPad. This is video from the White House feed of the Boston Red Sox. First of all, the White House couldn't even spell. They said Boston Red, S-O-C-K-S, and not S-O-X. But it was more like the Boston White Sox. Because here you have the manager who's Puerto Rican, the black ball players, Latino ball players saying, no, I'm not going. Yet 100% of the white ball players said, we're going to be there.
Including the white Cuban, J.D. Martinez. I'm giving him today.
Right. There you go. Tom Warner, who's the owner, he says, well, this thing wasn't about race. But the reality is, it shows how we see this thing differently, and it raises the question in the case here of why are the white ball players afraid to stand with their manager and the black ball players who say something is foul here. Just like when you had Chris Long, one of the few NFL players who stood with Colin Kaepernick and Malcolm Jenkins and whatever, and so what it says is that, oh yeah, we are teammates up to a point.
I want to know.
We're tight up to a point.
Roland, I want to know the next time that Chris Sale hits somebody and they all run out to start the fight, I want to know whether them brothers going to run out there and protect him. What kind of teammate are you to go shake this man's hand? And then you expect to go to sports war in August in a pennant race. Man, get out of my face.
Most of the NFL, since we're talking about sports, not my favorite topic, but comes up a lot. So we're talking about the NFL.
Well, in this case, baseball, but go ahead.
Okay, well, sports. Most of these sports consist of predominantly black males pushing the balls and hitting the balls and doing stuff with balls,
Except baseball is predominantly white.
Okay, all right, well, see, I didn't know. But the point I'm trying to make is this. In the case of Kaepernick, most of the football players did not step up, right?
Oh, yeah, it's very
Most
true.
of the black
period.
players, and the point that came to my mind when you were talking, Roland, is that, and this is clear from my perspective in terms of how you've come out as somebody who's self-actualized, who has a critical analysis, who is clear about black phenomena and can also articulate it, deconstruct it, and articulate it. Most, from my studies in cross-country travels and engagements of black audiences, that's not the story. That's not everybody black's story.
Oh, very true.
There's not a black father who knows whoever that was.
But first of all, I scare black people.
Well.
No. Let's just be clear.
Well,
no. When I was at CNN, the Negroes at CNN.
No doubt. Oh, no doubt.
No. Let me be real clear.
Yes, sir.
They were, and y'all know who y'all are.
Unfiltered.
Don't let me start doing roll call.
Oh, no doubt.
They would tell the black people, I don't know, Roland's radical. And it was a sister who was saying, she said, oh, you don't understand. That brother's taking arrows for your ass. You don't even run. No.
How about that?
He's fighting fights that's benefiting your behind, and you don't even know. Folks right now with primetime hosting jobs.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Again,
they eating
because you took arrows.
That's right.
Again, look, I ain't even realized this. I never even realized this. But that was a sister who worked there. She told me, she said, Roland, she said, in fact, she said, prior to you, if you were black, the only way you got hired to be a commentator at any of these networks is you had to be like a Donna Brazile, who was a campaign manager. She said, Roland, your success at CNN literally opened the door for all of these non-traditional black folks to get hired at CNN, at Fox, at MSNBC. She said, they didn't exist before you. And I was like, whoa. But then she said, but in your blackness, you did not put your blackness on the shelf to accommodate whiteness, she said, which made it possible for the folks to come in with braids. For the folks to come in with blackness. And so to your point,
I'm talking
to your point, when you to your point, somebody has to be willingness to be black and bold and beautiful and say, I can't accommodate whiteness anymore. I'ma do me. And I'ma take the stuff that comes with it, and I might not get the primetime show. I might not get the weekend show. But somebody has got to be able to say what needs to be said. And that's why, and that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of black folks in corporate America, same way. They scared, but it requires a level of unapologetic blackness to say, no, I'm not doing it. Go ahead.
And to have that transformation from disorientation and confusion around what to do to clarity, the teacher has to understand how to be in the position of a lack of clarity, to walk them into clarity. That's the point I want to make.
And you also are right in that, for me, having a strong black father and a strong black mother, and I identify, and my mama sometimes get upset because she's like, yo, talk about your daddy, but there's a reason why I identify with that, because Dad's 72, just turned 72 April 25th. I identify with strong black maleness, and it ain't, come to me, and it ain't toxic masculinity, and it ain't hyper-masculine.
No.
What it is black maleness as unapologetic.
That's right.
Okay, now, Roland.
That's right.
Most people who know me in my neck of the woods know that I'm unapologetic.
That's right.
Not a white accommodationist.
No.
And real clear that your story, though it wasn't at CNN, is quite similar to me in terms of affect. But what might be a difference is that, we haven't talked about this, that's why I say what might be. I have met tons of confused, disoriented, accommodating black people who, on the unconscious basis where their common sense was trying to get out, was hungry to be powerful, but thought assimilation was how you get power. And copying white people is copying power, so therefore you're powerful. But that's not true. But my point is that it was because I understood how to understand where they were that I was able to guide lots of people from confusion into clarity and self-love, instead of them being worried about, which is what they were worried about, Roland, is offending white people.
Precisely.
That is our concern.
True.
And I'm talking about babies and children.
Right.
Because they don't have a critical analysis. Your daddy and your mama, they did an example, whether it was direct or indirect, of you actually witnessing critical analysis, power, and not taking no stuff.
Right.
And I'm going to close with this because this is so important.
Go ahead.
We have to start not getting mad at people for being clueless, because no one chooses to be clueless. It is a consequence of clueless guardianship. Not them saying, I'm going to be clueless on Thursday because I don't got anything else to do. They don't even know the language of power.
Right.
We have to teach them with respect, love, consideration, and methodology to go from that place to this place. And we have to understand, or let them know that we understand where they are.
Greg,
how they got
and Malik, and we're going to close it out.
Just very quickly, in the spirit of what you said, Dr. Monago, let me put the Boston White Sox into their framework so everybody can analyze.
Y'all heard Boston White Sox.
Yeah, Boston White Sox. Okay, the last team to sign a black.
Real White Sox is Chicago White Sox. Boston Red Sox.
No question.
But just so y'all know, he said Boston White Sox for a reason.
The reason they were there today was not present. Those were those non-white ball players. The last team in white Major League Baseball to sign a black free agent in the 1990s. The team that hung their entire reputation as they lost for almost a century on their hero ball player, Ted Williams, whose mother was Mexican, who stood at the Hall of Fame induction and said, you got to let these Negro ball players, Negro League ball players in. Why? Because Ted Williams was not white. And who never won a championship again until they imported all those Afro-Latino ball players from Big Papi David Ortiz to the man whose number they would not give that racist today, and that was Pedro Martinez, who wore #1 from the Dominican Republic for the Boston White Sox, and they didn't give him a jersey with #1 on it today. Why? Because that number's been retired in Boston, because that black man brought them a championship. They gave him an 18 instead. The Boston White Sox, most racist team in Major League Baseball, embarrassed themselves today, but y'all don't talk about them being white. Why? Because if it weren't for the blacks, they wouldn't have no damn championship to begin with.
And before I go to Malik, the last baseball team in Major League Baseball to sign a black baseball player, Jackie Robinson came in 1947, was the Boston Red Sox.
Come on.
In 1959. They were the last Major League Baseball team to sign a black ball player. Malik, your final thoughts on today's show?
Yeah, I just have 2 points. One, I don't think it's fair to judge the players who decided to go to the White House to really judge them negatively. Well, it's and I would say
go ahead, finish your point.
And I would say the same thing for people if they chose not to go visit Obama. So I'm consistent with that. Secondly, I don't think that it's fair. And if we're going to talk about
just be factual. Only a handful didn't visit with Obama.
Whether it's
not massive numbers like
whether
Trump.
It was
but go ahead,
or not.
I just want for a fact. Go ahead.
If we're going to have an open conversation, if we're going to have a layered conversation, I think it's also important to acknowledge that no one owns blackness. So I get told a lot that I cannot be black. I cannot be black and woke and support Donald Trump. I reject it because you can't tell me how to think. You can't tell me how to think. You can't tell me what.
You have a C conversation that we did A and B earlier.
Well, I'm just. But my point is.
Wait, finish your point.
But my point is that if we're going to have a conversation, then that requires people on the other side to understand and not tie my blackness to who it is that I choose to support as president or any politician, because that does nothing to move us forward to any larger, more prominent place. It just keeps us divided.
I don't know.
No, wait. So this is very simple for me. When we have these conversations, right, it's not a question of blackness. It's a simple question of black concerns. So, for instance, those of you who saw the Skip Gates Reconstruction documentary, that was a black man in Mississippi who voted to strip black people of their voting rights because he was benefiting from white largesse. There have been black people who have made decisions that have gone against a significant number of black people for their own reasons. Are they black? Yes.
Biologically.
They are. But the question, so when you say question blackness, what I can do is question somebody's black and their intent. What I can do is question, but simply by stating facts as it relates to the position. So I dare say this. If you are supporting somebody who does not truly support the policies that are affecting more than one black person, when you have a Department of Education that's rescinding civil rights rules that impacts black kids, when a Department of Education that rescinds the rules when it comes to suspensions that predominantly impact black kids, When you have a Department of Justice that has reintroduced private prisons on the federal level, when you have a Department of Justice under Jeff Sessions, continued under Bill Barr, that says that they are going to pursue the highest charges possible, when you have an administration that consistently is targeting black folks when it comes to voter suppression, then I dare say if you are black and then you are still supporting that same person, then that means you need a mirror. I'm not questioning your blackness. I'm questioning whether or not you fully see what this person is doing to black people.
But because it assumes that I can't think for myself.
No, that's not what I said. But hold up, Malik. Nowhere in what I just said that you cannot think for yourself.
Right.
What I did say is that being black and supporting an individual who is doing all those things that I mentioned that has a negative effect on a significant number of black people requires a mirror.
Can I ask Malik a question?
Sure. And I'm gonna do this. I know we're over time, and so I'm gonna just go for 5 more minutes because I know I got folks who are being paid who got to go. I know it's good, but go ahead.
We're going to do this some more because this is nuanced. During Trump's State of the Union, when did black people come up in visual and literal terms?
I'm not sure.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't watch the State of the Union? Okay. Well, that's too bad because you didn't see the point I'm going to make. Black people did not come up until he talked about felons.
Yeah. But that's
let me finish. He did this whole thing. He paid tribute to soldiers who were in Germany and even people who were in Auschwitz and blah, 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 blah. And black people were nowhere in very specific terms in that whole discussion until near the part of talking about felons.
First troops into Auschwitz, by the way.
I'm real clear about how Africans help. I'm personally clear about it.
But to your point.
Yeah.
Not a mention.
But a lot of people don't know that point. That Africans.
And he had an opportunity there to say that.
But he wasn't interested because he's a white supremacist and racist.
That's part of your point. That's part
of Roland's point, too.
To your point.
So that, for example, along with everything that Roland mentioned, I figured that you probably saw the State of the Union because you're a fan of Trump, but you didn't. But the bottom line is the things they keep doing keep defacing, demoralizing, and destroying and negatively affecting black lives. So for a black person to support that sounds like I don't question people's blackness, I question their mental health and their emotional state.
I'm not mentally. Malik, go ahead with your point.
But that goes back to my point. You just insulted me by saying that assuming that I have some type of mental deficiency, and I don't. I am able to walk and chew gum at the same time. The things that people complain about as far as this administration are things that they have complained about under any Republican administration. The idea that somehow Donald Trump or black people were more impartial with, if you will, with the Republican Party.
Why would that be the case?
Why would
the complaints be consistent across GOP administrations?
Yeah,
particularly
what does that say? Hold up, right.
Exactly.
If you just say it, that the complaints are consistent with any Republican president, what does that say about the Republican Party and black people?
Well, clearly there's a bad relationship between the two. There's almost, in a sense, a toxic relationship between the two. Black people support, I think, Republicans by about 9-1, at least as far as president. So when you have about 90 or so percent of black people support
Republicans 1-9.
Well, yeah, 1-9, sorry. But when you talking about a situation where black people, 90+% black people during the presidential election cycles vote Republican, obviously there's a problem there. But what you shouldn't do is then say that those of us who actually are not part of that 90%, there's something inherently wrong with us for actually supporting that. That does nothing to move a conversation forward. It has nothing to move a conversation forward, and this is something that I hear all the time.
I got 2 minutes, go.
All the time for people who look like me.
I have not called you mentally ill.
But I support Donald Trump.
Let me finish, but I gave an analysis.
Yeah.
What I'm apologizing for is a lack of time to back up and unlayer that analysis.
Well, I disagree with your analysis because it's insulting. Because the words that came out of your mouth were insulting. And that's my point. We can go roll on the South Side on any day, and we can see what people like me deal with in my community. We can do that on any day of the week.
I don't know what the point of that is.
Well, the point is that somebody was just shot in my community. Y'all talking about Donald Trump.
Actually,
at the federal level. Less than 2 minutes from my doorstep, somebody was shot on Saturday. And less than 5 minutes from my house, 14-year-old kid was shot at Giant.
Right.
You want me to be angry with the Republican Party?
No.
Or not be supportive of the Republican Party?
Let me be real clear. Let me be real clear. First of all, one can be angry with those shootings. One can be angry with Hugo, Oklahoma. One can be angry with Billings, Montana, and one can be angry with Donald Trump, all at the very same time.
I agree.
The point is, this is very simple. What we are dealing with in America right now in 2019, on this day, May 9th, 2019, is the reality of whiteness. We're dealing with what has been the case for America for the last 400 years. This is called the Year of Return. In August, we will deal with the 21st odd Africans arriving in Virginia on 1619. We're dealing with the fact that America still has not come to grips with the issue of race. We're still dealing with the fact that whether we talk about police departments, political parties, whether we talk about what's happening in the business community, we're dealing with that. We're dealing with me coming here today looking about this unbelievable movie called Fast Color, which tells a story of 3 black women with superhero powers there to protect themselves, and yet Lionsgate, the company that put the film out, had all white male marketers who said, we have no idea how to market this film to an audience. The movie was about 3 black women who are superheroes. That's an easy marketing job. And you might ask yourself, I'm not understanding. Lionsgate, yes, the same company that owns Stars that puts out Power. Lionsgate, the same company that actually distributed Tyler Perry films. The same company that somehow knows how to reach black people but could not figure out how a movie directed by a white woman starring Gugu Mbatha Raw and Lorraine Toussaint, they somehow couldn't figure out how to market the film. The movie was in 25 theaters in April, did $60,000 in revenue, got a huge score, 70 plus on Cinema Plus, and also Rotten Tomatoes, and 89% on Google. And they couldn't figure out in 2019 how to market it to black people. And this is after Black Panther. I'm laying all of this out for you is because we're still dealing with whiteness in America. And that notion of whiteness, that notion of superiority, that notion goes back to what I said earlier, how we have to change who we are and what we are to make them feel good, which is why when we discuss the issue of race, we have to say, hasn't things gotten so much better? Because we have to make them feel better. All I'm saying, y'all, is to y'all out there, and I've been seeing y'all post, and some of y'all like, oh man, we also need this to go longer. Which is why you got to support it. Come on.
There it is. No, there it
because,
is.
no, let me help y'all.
There it is.
Because
come on, bro.
You can't tell me that if Roland Martin was white and created this show, you would not have folks lining up, throwing major dollars at it.
That's right.
If I was attracting 6 to 10 million largely white viewers.
Come on now.
This goes to the valuation in America. That's right. Which is why the white woman who was killed in Minnesota, her family got $20 million. And you can't show me a single case where African Americans been gunned down by a cop and they got $20 million. That's right. But I know Castile's mom didn't get $20 million. No. Sandra Bland's family didn't. I'm connecting all of these dots because what I'm trying to get you to understand is that the value of blackness is not as high in the eyes of white America. It was when we were on the slave block. But the value is not the same, which means that for Angela Whitehead, what she was saying is, my house, I value my space. Sandra Bland was, I value my space. My dad was saying, I value my son and my space. And I'm trying to get y'all to understand that we have to value our space in order for us to change the paradigm and to have a real shift. That's it for today. If you want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered, go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, join our Bring the Funk fan club. And if you needed any other reason to understand why you must support this, all you got to do is watch this restream and look at the last 1 hour and 19 minutes. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.